Hello everybody, and here is how I make my stop motion animations. I've been making animations for a long time. Well, actually not that long. But here is my way of making Lego animations, so stay tuned. First thing we're going to do is hop into Stop Motion Studio. Then we're going to set the frame rate to about 8 frames per second. This is what is best to be starting with. I use 12 or 15. The reason I say 8 frames per second is the best to be starting with is because while it may not look the best at first, you still have longer animations with less amount of time working on them. What I am going to be showing you guys to animate today is a simple wave. One thing that's a necessity for all of my animations is onion skinning. That bar over there is how you adjust it. See how my hand is basically like a ghost? This makes sure that you can tell your last movement from your latest movement, so you can have the most consistent movements possible. This next thing I'm going to show you is one of the most important things that I'm going to show you in this video. This is called ease in and ease out. It's what makes all of my movements look really smooth, and you really need to pay attention to this at all times in your animation. Now, I've developed a style recently where my movements are really fast, and it takes 1 frame to ease in, 1 frame to show the establishing fast movement, and 1 frame to ease out. Which just shows that if you're at 12 to 15 frames per second, you really don't need to take that many frames, and it makes it a lot faster to animate and have fun with. Now we're going to apply everything we just learned into a failed backflip. You can see he charges, and then eventually we ease in back into the jump. He is now in the air, in which he is now going to fall, and that will be the last of his movement. For some reason, somewhere in the recording, I changed it back to 8 frames per second, but don't do this. I just kind of forgot I was recording a tutorial. Now they are going to fight each other, so the first thing we have to do is get them in arm's length. Then Shaggy's going to use ease in and ease out, like we always should, to charge up his punch. We're now going to take a frame of this charged up punch before he takes action. Before your character does anything, you always should do the smallest movement possible before eventually jumping into a large Jurassic movement like this. On impact, the opposing character should be pushed back a little bit before moving back a lot, and Shaggy kind of has to recover from his punch a little bit. So you'll do 1 small frame with Shaggy. After the lady's done reacting, you are now done with the punch. Here's how that punch looks. So simple, but it looks so good, right? Now, sometimes I do use an out-of-socket arm, but for this tutorial, we're just gonna do it normally. Also coming up, I will be doing a kick, but what most people do is they take the legs out of socket for the kick. I don't do that because last time I did that, the legs broke. When Shaggy punched, it already kind of put him in the charging pose for the kick. So now all we gotta do is make him lean back slightly, and then he goes for the kick immediately. The slight easing out. Now, the principles I taught you today is basically all you really need to get started, and you'll probably be better than I was. Therefore, I will put the rest of this video in a time lapse for you guys to watch. Don't leave though, because I'm going to teach you how to edit. Look for hit, and it's basically the same principle all the way until you're done. That's crazy! So now what may seem like a normal video with only a couple sound effects, now you see all of the sound effects that go into one video. It sure is a lot, but it's realistic. That's crazy! For every movement, you need a sound. And that's one of my favorite parts of making the video, is the sound effects. Which not everyone agrees to, but I agree to myself, so.